Alright guys, UnoPro back here with a new Songhai video for the new patch. This has actually been my first day playing on the patch. I've been super busy lately, which is why you haven't seen any videos recently. But the new cards are out, balance changes are out, and we started to test around and play some stuff. So just a little bit of context, today I started, got to rank 5, just been messing around with different types of Songhai, seeing how we're going to move forward. Okay, so before I go into my current iteration of the deck, which I'm actually pretty happy with, I've been having really good results with it, I'll show you some of my ideas. So this is what I started off with. I definitely want Cyclone Mask in nearly all my decks now. In the past, the reason I wasn't as big a fan of Cyclone Mask as other people was that Lantern Fox was already our Punisher. If our opponent, ran away, tried to avoid our minions, stick their back against the wall, we could just build up with a big combo with Lantern Fox, and that would punish them. Whereas now Cyclone Master does that job. But before, I preferred to have more pressure to increase the chances that our opponent would run away, and we could build up with the Lantern Fox combo. Now we can't rely on that. We need Cyclone Mask, and it's actually one of the strengths of the faction. Okay, so my main idea was just Dream Gazer and Hammer Blade Seeker to replace the Lantern Fox. Dream Gazer just because it's an insane card. I might end up putting it in my current deck, even though it has anti-synergy with the artifacts, and same with Hammer Blade Seeker. But that's not as much of a downside, because if you're taking 2 damage, that means your Blade Seekers live. Good chance you can hit them for 8 next turn. Though Blade Seeker is considerably weaker now that Mist Dragon Seal is gone, which I basically haven't been running. I really don't like it at 2 mana. And so you end up gonna you can get kited around and not reliably deal damage with it. Then I moved on to a aggro Songhai, trying to make use of the new Dream Gazer card, Wings of Paradise, which if you don't really care about board control and your minions living too much, it's just a Gorehorn that doesn't really need any setup. So I actually think this card will probably find a home in Songhai, at least 1 or 2 deck lists. It's a really reliable 5 damage, which is pretty good for a 3-drop. And then trying out Scarlet Vipers, which are actually pretty good, as well as the Iraqi Flameblood Primus, kind of deal. And that one I actually had a fair bit of success with, so I do recommend if you want to play around with the deck, try that one. Then I called this one mid-range. It has got a little bit less mid-range actually since I started the deck. I had Emerald Rejuvenated and stuff like that in there. Very similar to the original deck list, just trying to, a little bit more value, a little bit late game. That's why we had the Fires over the Jaxi for a little bit less pressure. So I know I'm rambling on about all these decks, but I want to explain my thought process as I go. I'm sure there'll be lots of changes because I've only had a day to test this all, but I have been playing a lot today. So now I've kind of gone back to my old roots. The more I play Lantern Fox, the more I like this card. Obviously it's nothing compared to the old Lantern Fox, but this Lantern Fox is really, really good. It's basically a Mogwai on steroids. Phoenix Fires are pretty good, especially in this meta, where you're versing tons of Vayner and tons of Vitruvian, where it's really important to clear those low health minions. And it's very easy to have it, a 2/4 that draws 2 Phoenix Fires for 3 mana, which is awesome. Sticking to the Keeper roots, I really like this. You could replace it with a Dagger Kiri, maybe even a second one for a bit more consistency. My problem with Dagger Kiri is that if I have the option, I was never playing it on an empty board. And so you need to wait for it to be a finisher, and it's just really clunky at a 2 damage celerity for 5 mana as a finisher only, which I really didn't like. So you could probably try around with. I'm sure it's okay if you want to play that kind of style. The other changes I made, I'm versing a ton of Vayner and Vitruvian, which is why I made sure first thing I put on the deck list was the 2 Elcuins. Elcuin is super good against Vitruvian for stealing 3rd wishes, stealing that 0 mana dispel, and basically whatever else. And it's also pretty good at keeping tempo with Vayner by stealing some of their cheap removal spells. And it also works really well as a finisher. And also the 1 Ephemeral Shroud, that's specifically because of the Vitruvian really, just for another answer for 3rd wish. Down to 1 Spiral Technique, the meta's a bit fast, games aren't going too long, so we'll play some games with that. Also wanted to point out, down to 2 Gorehorns and 2 Mechazords in favour of the 3rd Lantern Fox. Gorehorn's a little bit weaker with that Mist Dragon Seal, and so sort of Mechazor, but still worth the include in my opinion. So the second Spiral, we're definitely a lot weaker to Liner with this deck, but I've seen nearly no Liner on the ladder, and that's because of the Vayner matchup. Vitruvian can go either way, but it's definitely less of a concern. And in a tournament, you know, we still have tech options. So if you're running into a lot of Liner, maybe a couple tweaks, just because we have less finishing power without the old Lantern Fox. And that's a situation where maybe Dagger Kyrie is good. And if I was seeing a lot of Liner, maybe some slower decks, I might actually consider running Blade Seekers and Dagger Kyrie, because Liner's only answer is Martyrdom pretty much, if they don't have like a really good board already. And in that case, that's also the weakness of Blade Seeker. 90% of the time, your Blade Seekers get Martyrdomed if they have it. So if you're running both, it can actually punish them pretty hard if they, you know, Martyrdom one and don't have the answer for the other. So anyway, that's enough rambling about these decks. I'm really excited to, even though my favourite faction got nerfed, I'm still excited to, you know, experiment with all these changes and see how Songhai decks go, because it's cool to play different styles. So that'll be enough about talking about the decks for now. We'll get into the game. We did have like a super awesome start here, versing a ton and ton of Vayner. I don't know where all this is coming from. I don't think it got. I think basically the reason is okay. The reason for the Vayner, I think, is because Vitruvian got a lot better with Dreamgazer, and Songhai got nerfed, which means Vayner now versus a lot more Vitruvian, which is an awesome matchup for Vayner. And then they also don't have to verse Songhai, who is kind of a natural counter just because of their lack of provokes and healing. So I think Vayner and Vitruvian will be what we see a lot of, probably Liner coming in third, and I still believe that Songhai is at least top 4. Though in my opinion, once the decks get built, people adjust, it'll be able to compete. I have no doubt. Like, we still have Tuskball and Mask of Shadows, which are just absolutely insane cards. And I'm kind of enjoying running through Juxtaposition. I love Juxtaposition. Now I have an excuse to run 3. It's my favourite card in the game, just because of how versatile it is. Alright, so versing a Magma player. Alright, we'll definitely get rid of all of this. So yeah, I just hit rank 5 on this account. I didn't get to finish the Vayner account, free-to-play one, if anyone was wondering about that, just because I've been away on holiday, work's starting up again. But now I'm back into schedule, back into the normal way of things. Hopefully going to be putting out a ton of videos for you guys. Interesting, looks like it's some kind of aggro Magma, but he played it here for some reason. Maybe he's running some buffs. That would, but still, yeah. We'll see. I could go here and go a little bit greedier, but I think I just want to deny the mana tile. Also encourage him to stay away from me a little bit. And I think you guys will probably start to see how good this Lantern Fox is. So, you know, don't go on a rush to disenchant all your Songhai cards. There's still some hope. That doesn't. It's not the end of the world. I mean, it was the one corner, but still. You might not even want to make that trade. Like, there's not a lot of really efficient. There's no efficient answers to this card, really. Like, what cards deal with in one card that it, you know, costs less mana, really? Except for Martyrdom, which obviously is a big drawback. So he used the Greater Fortitude, so we can do some juxtapositioning stuff with this, but I'm not sure if we want to. Let's get rid of this. Alright, I think what we're gonna do is we're just gonna play this somewhere like here. and then move away and play our Heartseeker safe. It's also really nice having a minion other than Jaxi and Tuskball that you like playing in, an aggressive position. The rest of my minions, I feel like I'm constantly trying to play them really safe, like as you can see. But with, Landfox, just chuck it in their face, make them have to take, deal a damage. I do sometimes miss 2-spiral technique, but I just don't think the meta's slow enough for it right now. If you see more, it obviously depends. Like, all I've seen so far on this ladder has literally been Vitruvian, Abyssian, and Vaynar. Sometimes a little bit of Songhai and Lionar. That's about all I'm seeing. So I'm adjusting my deck, and hopefully, I can help you guys learn how you're gonna make slight adjustments like that as well. Because that's the main part of laddering, really. Alright, that's perfectly fine. I'm happy about this. I can backstab this, hopefully. Well, it's pretty hard not to be able to. And then we can Phoenix Fire this. Backstab. Phoenix Fire. Play another one. So plays first, of course. I guess I might as well move up. Phoenix Fire. Alright, see. I think I might have stuffed up what I was planning on doing when I said it out loud, but pretty nice turn here. He's inflicted already 7 damage by himself, so he's got to keep clearing the board. Like, look at this, it's so good. It's done 4 damage, drawn us 2 Phoenix Fires, which you can use without worry because your hand is more likely to be full. And so, like, the problem that people may think is that, oh well, my hand might get full or clogged by Phoenix Fires. But in Songhai, if you're in a position where you can just flood your hand out, you're in a pretty strong position in my opinion. Okay, I don't want the Heartseeker here. I feel like it's a little bit slow. So my first instinct is maybe something like this, which is very aggressive. So I could put him to 3 HP. What more likely to happen? So I could hit here. So I'll be on 15 and he'll have these 2 and this. So that's 8 damage. So he needs 7 more, plus a way to kill Jaxi so he can hit with this. I think we're not in too much danger of dying. But we are gonna Phoenix Fire this. And this just puts a lot of pressure on him. It does suck that we don't really have a reliable way to kill him next turn, but we have so many ounce in our deck for that kind of thing. It's pretty hard for him to kill us here. I can't really think of anything. Because double Elucidator would kill him. A card which you haven't seen in this match, which is really good against Magma, is actually Cyclone Mask. Cyclone Mask is really hard for the Magma to deal with. Because they like to play really safe, they like to, remove everything, heal up, put their back against the wall, and then they end up on the other side of the wall. Because it's hard for Magma to pressure early on. So he needs a way to... He might live. If he doesn't... If this lives, we don't have guaranteed lethal. So... everything else, does the same job. Alright, so we don't have lethal. We could swap this, save ourselves some damage. Which is probably better actually. So swap here. Yeah, I like that. Obviously it's not like a value play whatsoever, but and I'm gonna equip this so that I can kill this. Make sure I can kill whatever he plays and rushes with. We could die here, we could very well die. So maybe it was risky to attack there. To go face. We're still in an okay position. Because he's only got 3 cards in hand, so you know, we could get a bit unlucky here and die, but otherwise we're in a pretty strong position. This is a really strong finishing kind of thing. This hand is really nice for finishing. Well played, looks like he's got me. Well played. Wait, is that a draw? Oh, it's a draw, okay. Alright. Well played to him. We possibly could have won that if we played it a little bit slower. Sometimes you gotta take risks. Alright, hopefully we can do better than previously have been doing. I did have to stop recording there for a second, so I did turn down the volume. Let me just turn that back up. Hopefully that's alright. I did do 1 or 2 games after that one, but just problems with the recording and misplays and everything, so here we go again. Hopefully we can do a little bit better. This deck is, I just feel like Songhai at the moment, obviously this might go without saying a little bit, but after the patch it's just so far from being solved. Its strength is a little bit unclear. It definitely has some strengths, but the Land Fox, and honestly it's the Mist Dragon that I miss the most. Lantern you can play around, there's different styles. Mist Dragon made all your cards weaker. It made your swords weaker, your Gorehorns weaker. I don't feel like that was the way to go about it. I think I'll get rid of this. Okay. This is really annoying. But he took 6 damage from the Tusk Ball. So I think this will be the play to kill this. It's just out of necessity. You just can't let it live. Even though it's awkward, we don't like doing it. Actually, just gonna go for a bit of value. If he can't get to this, sometimes Abyssian can be really good at clearing artifacts like Void Pulses and direct damage, and then sometimes it's really awkward for them too. I am still really unsure if I want to put Dream Gazers in this deck. I know it doesn't have like very good synergy, but it's a free 2/2 at the cost of a replace, which isn't even strictly worse because it thins your deck. Alright, so he's had some pretty good answers here. Let's get rid of this. I don't think that's going to be doing anything. I could go face here. 5. I feel like I want to do that. Everything. If he plays a Blood Moon Priestess, though, I mean, what's the one that? Yep. No, Blood Moon. I mean, that's bad as well, but the one that heals and does damage and stuff. That's what I'm a little afraid of. So I could just activate. I think I just need to go for it. It's not the end of the world if he does that. Like, we're gonna spew our whole hand, and it's super risky, but also a lot of damage. That's a nice card. Land Fox, like, inner focus. That's still 5 damage. If you know, attack with the Phoenix Fire. It's also really hard for Abyssinian to deal with this. My gut told me this was the best play, and the more I think about it, the more I believe that. Because he can't combo piece and kill this in the same time. The best he can do is Blood Moon Priest, Demonic Lure. But he's not healing in that scenario. Oh, that is dangerous. But he doesn't have a healing Mystic. Good chance I have lethal, right? No possible way he can kill me. Surely not. Okay, so he has a... What does he have to kill this? Okay. That's what I thought it might be. Alright, that's actually really good for him. Jeez. Alright, well. Okay, that's a good draw. Can I get this Manatile? Go here, move to there. I guess it's all the same. Well, we're not dead, but Jesus, that was incredible. Like, the fact that he can almost, like, type a win from that situation. I still agree with my play though. So he has nothing that will be able to bring this towards my general. So that doesn't matter too much. He has to block off here. I think we're in a decent spot now. As long as we don't let this thing hit us. Okay, that's fine. If he doesn't heal and we can hit with this, that's lethal. Oh. Man, this guy is getting the answers. Okay, so we have to do this play here. I'm actually going to preserve my artifact. It makes Mask of Shadows a real card, and thing is, we can't last that much longer without this thing hitting us, unless we get another silhouette or like a juxtaposition. Spiral is a live draw. So this is definitely going face. No reason for this not to go face. We need it, we can get, and now we hope. So he's got 6 damage. nowhere left to run. It's really just spiral technique. Unless he somehow doesn't clear. No, he's definitely going to clear this, and so no draw actually. It's hard to think of a way other than spiral technique just because of these two cards. Not really what we wanted right now. If we get the Silhouette Tracer, is that lethal? Silhouette Tracer? Oh, he's going to box us in. Alright, that will be game most likely. Once again, Silhouette, jump away. Moment of truth. Let's go to this. Alright. That was a very frustrating game. I mean, I'm sure there was something I could have done differently, but it's hard to pinpoint exactly what. Just clearing off there, then I can't. If I cleared off that turn, I went face. Then I'm doing like 7 less face damage, and I'm playing 2 mana out of 5 mana. I just feel like I want to be more pro. Because how did he have to clear that? He had to play the legendary spell, and then he also had to have ritual of the sacrifice and a rush minion to clear that. So I think I'll stand by that play. It was definitely the defining play of the match without a doubt, but I like this. I like this. Heal. Definitely more Abyssian now that this card come out. These cards came out. I can't speak English today. Anyway, this will probably be the last one for the video. Hopefully we can actually do something in this video. And I'll probably do some other ones, testing out some other versions, other ideas for Songhai. Also going to be experimenting with other factions after the patch, because I am a competitive player, so if I don't believe that Songhai is the best choice for me, then I will switch. Alright, here we go again, I guess. Jeez. I don't know if I can just kite. I can't kite this around forever. It's just. It gives him so much inevitability if I don't do this. Even though it's not fun to at all. And we'll get keeper value most likely. Sword of Mechazor or a Tusk Boar are both really good. Oh my god, I did this in the wrong order. I didn't even notice. Oh my goodness. Did I really just do that? Alright, this one's over. I'm so ashamed of that. Oh. Did I really just do that? Well, as much as it pains me, I will upload that so I can keep the video going, even though it'll be very painful to upload such an embarrassing mistake. I just didn't even think about it. Talking too much and... Ooh. Let's just forget about that. Okay, let's get some redemption. Let's not play absolutely terrible. Hopefully. Alright. Well, the Duelist Gods, you know, they're giving us a second chance. They're giving us the dream. If we can't... We gotta win this one. I'm not gonna lose again to that deck, especially that. How did I? This is where the tilt kicks in. No, we'll be right. Here we go. No more messing around. I'm thinking of keeping this and this. This can work well with the range next turn. This can really clear up his mini jacks well. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna do it this way, and I am gonna clear the board because we know it's a Deathwatch deck. And this blocks up the mana tile he's going for, and it blocks him from going this way. And I want to keep this hand. I want to have these options. This is really nice to have as well. Just want options at this point. Blood Moon Priestess. It's a bit annoying, but we can deal with it hopefully, depending on how it spawns. Alright, that's not too bad. Do I want to be further away from him? Maybe I do. Maybe let's go here. And should we get rid of the Killing Edge? He hasn't answered that. We can keep this hand. Yeah. Do I just trade off the Jaxies? Yeah, I think so. Oh, we need to do that after. So I can trade off the Jaxies, I can move this here and switch them, and then... But then this won't really live. Okay. Yeah, let's just trade them off afterwards. Okay. Actually, I'm gonna have enough mana. I'm gonna get rid of this. The reason that I thought about it, and getting a 2-drop there would be pretty nice. So, and let's clear up. We just gotta clear the board. Against the Deathwatch deck, you really want to clear the thing. It did lead to our downfall kind of in the first game, but then it's not clear. But obviously there's an exception to every rule, and you can't always just go all out and kill everything. So I like our position a lot more now. Hopefully this isn't one of the really big legends. Okay. What's he going for here? Okay, so he's just trying to spew out his hand a bit. Alright, let's just get rid of the juxtaposition. So we're just going to let the board kind of naturally clean itself up, if that makes any sense. Board control is the name of the game, and then eventually he's going to play his big legends, and then we'll have to put enough pressure on him by that point. I think Abyssian is actually pretty good against Songhai in general. If you're running Ghost Lightnings, obviously that changes everything. I mean, I could have backstabbed the Wraithling and saved the charge, but I don't think it's worth it. I think I'd rather just kill off. Okay, that's a little bit annoying. Not the end of the world. We do have a Gorehorn in a focus turn. And it's those kind of tempo plays that you need. You need to proactively take the board. You can't just be clearing. If you're clearing, you're losing. He might even attack you and be greedy. Yeah, I like that. Yeah. I'm tempted just to get rid of Jack. If I get rid of Jaxie, Tusk Ball's lethal, or Saberspine's lethal. I'm actually gonna do it. Okay, we didn't get it. Gonna do this because I want Spiral Technique to be lethal. Like a clear lethal. Wait, spell? I'll save that spell. No, I won't. I just want the body on the field. Probably should have played this like here, to play around Grasp of Agony. That was probably a mistake. This is why you gotta plan out your turns from the start. I haven't been very good at doing this in this video. I'm always a big proponent of plan out everything in your turn and then do it. Don't make it up as you go along. Okay. So, bit of an interesting video. It wasn't the cleanest. Still experimenting with this deck a lot. I think it has potential. It was doing really well for me on the ladder before. But I'm going to be experimenting with lots of different Songhai decks and see how we go. So thanks for watching, guys. Also want to give a quick shout out, thank everyone for subscribing. Came back from holidays, had pretty much 300 subscribers, which to me is quite a big deal. So thanks a lot for that. Might do something to celebrate. I didn't manage to do something for the last 100 milestone. I'll see what I can do. No promises. So anyway, subscribe if you want to see more, and thanks for watching.